Hey there and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a really fun video idea that I kind of thought about doing. I was kind of inspired because recently I've picked up a bunch of red, well not a bunch, but I never really had a bunch of red bottles in my fragrance collection, and when I started getting more I thought it would be fun to do kind of like a rainbow tag or rainbow collection. I don't know what I'll end up calling this, but yeah, choosing one fragrance that I really like or that I want to give a more in-depth review of or talk to you guys about for each color of the rainbow. So that's what we're doing here today. I have picked out one for each color and I really stuck to that. So even though there were more than one, I picked one for each color, and yeah, we'll just go through, talk a little bit more in depth about them and share kind of my pros and cons about each one. And if you guys are interested, I can also, after this, I was thinking I could do a video all about black bottles and all about white bottles because there's a whole bunch for those two, and this was just really the rainbow list. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to do so you'll be notified every time I put out a new video, and let's get into it. So the first one, obviously we'll start with, is red, and Juliette Has A Gun. I picked and I never know how to really say that on camera, but basically 4 M's and an ellipses. I'm wearing this layered with many other fragrances today. I'll put on some more. I love this. This is really a more synthetic version of a Hypnotic Poison by Dior. A lot of you have said the same. It's definitely got that vibe to it. Personally, on me, I feel like it's a little bit sweeter, it's more synthetic, and it has that what I call root beer-esque quality. And you get that sometimes with almond fragrances, almond heavy, or almond and orange blossom with some musk. Whatever that combination is, sometimes it shows up in a fragrance, and not everyone can get it to their nose, but I definitely can, and I adore that. I really, really love when fragrances take on that quality. And yeah, this fragrance actually was kind of, when I got this bottle, it was what spurred me to think about this video, about choosing one for each color, about doing my makeup a little more rainbow-like and a little more colorful, and kind of using that as a way to talk through it. So yeah, I really, really love this. I can see how for the average perfume lover, owning this and Hypnotic Poison are not needed. They are similar enough of a vibe where you really just need the one, and in that way you might choose to go with Hypnotic Poison, understandably, because it lasts longer, and I think it just has a certain level of like quality to it that this doesn't, but not in a bad way. I actually really do like this. That's just more, I don't know, much more posh of a fragrance than this, but I just love it. I love the bottle as well. It's such a true red. The only bad thing about the bottle for some people is that it's opaque, so you really can't see how much you've used or how much you have left. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I do like when I can see it, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. And this is the 50 ml, by the way. I know a lot of you guys ask. This is the 50 ml, and the 100 mls are just a little bit bigger than this. Love this, totally love it, completely recommend. And I will say, because I can tell that even though it's 100% love for me, it's not going to be the same for everyone else. So definitely do try to get a sample or try it out before you purchase this, unless you are sure that you love that almond, Hypnotic Poison, very synthetic, root beery type fragrances. So that is my red pick. Juliette Has A Gun. So now we move on to orange, and for orange I was torn because I didn't really have a bottle that was true like a very vibrant orange. The closest one I had was a pretty good orange bottle, honestly, but it wasn't a fragrance that I especially like. I actually kind of dislike it, and it was a recent buy, so I thought I would pick something that I have more to share about, more of a story, and I decided to go with Olympea, and I have the Legere, I believe, but I'll put the name in the video here. And this is, I think, the 50 ml as well. Doesn't say here, but yeah, I think it's the 50 ml. So I just, let's see here. Yeah, it is the 50 ml. I just love this. I've always liked the Olympea range. I find they're really intoxicating, delicious, feminine, just delicious, super, super delicious. And I haven't tried all of them, I don't think, but this one, what led me to pick up this one is actually kind of what led me to super fall in love with it, is that this year, very spontaneously, the Eau Legere went on sale from, original price overnight to $19.99 here in our Canadian drugstores. And it was months ago now, but I saw it, could not believe it, could not pass it up, especially because I knew that I did like the Olympea DNA. And it's just stunning. I picked up this and 2 backups, which I know I will go through because I do actually use this a lot. Like, this has been only in a couple months. I just think it's delicious. It's got ginger flower, it's sweet and salty and floral, and it actually lasts a long time. Even though it's an Eau Legere, I feel like if you spray it in, the air, your room, it'll stay on clothing. I just adore this. I think it's so, so nice. You definitely have to like sweet fragrances, but there's a saltiness to it. There's a floralness to it. The ginger flower, I just can't really get enough. And I find that it is one that's pretty appealing to men to smell on women, because it just has a quality about it that is really intoxicating. It's very sweet, but it's got a saltiness to it. And men tend to like sweet gourmand fragrances on women anyways, but it's just beautiful. I mean, again, I don't think it is mass appealing. I think it's, really, really beautiful, and a lot of people would like it, but I do also feel like there is a quality about this, and I do have friends that do not like Olympea because it is strong. I mean, not in like a rich leather deep kind of way, but it is strong in what it is. The sweet, salty floralness, it's a very, very strong scent. And if you don't like that kind of scent, or if you're just dipping your toes into it, this is not the fragrance to dip your toes into with. It's quite strong. I love it. And if you like it, then it's perfect because it does stick around, and it's got great sillage, honestly. And it's projecting for a good amount of hours when you first put it on, but again, it's not for everyone, and fragrance in general isn't going to be for everyone, but I wouldn't say this is mass appealing in that way. So that is my pick for orange. And the bottle is beautiful. I mean, it's definitely not to everyone's liking, but it does ombre into orange. So that is my pick for orange. Then we will get to yellow, and I kind of immediately, yellow was a very clear one that I knew what I was going to go for. I could have gone with either of my Amouages because they're actually both yellow, but I had to go with the tried and true, my favorite Amouage that I've tried so far, and that is Sunshine Woman. It's just beautiful, you guys. I've talked about this endlessly. Many people have talked about this endlessly. I won't get into a huge, deep, in-depth look at it unless you guys are interested and I can do a video, but it's just beautiful. This is one of my most beast mode fragrances of all time. I've said before, if you haven't been watching my channel, that this has lasted through washes on clothing, so it's stunning. I just love it. I'll spray it here on my arm because I'm wearing a lot up here, but it's just beautiful. It is so unique. It is so rare for me to be able to put kind of masterpiece status on a fragrance, even the ones I love. I love but I can be real with myself and say that this is not a masterpiece. I really like Olympea Eau Legere. It's not a masterpiece. This is something where I feel like a lot of care and thought and skill and expertise went into making it, and it's still a wearable fragrance, because those two things don't always seem to be the case. There are fragrances that I find are, worthy of a masterpiece status, or that I find them to be super, I don't know, skillfully made, but they're not ones I want to smell like. And this has a beautiful way, Amouage Sunshine has a beautiful way of being both. It is incredibly unique and such a masterpiece, and yet I do want to smell like it. To me, and on my skin, it's a lot, it doesn't lean in any way of that apricot dessert, peach dessert kind of way that a lot of people get on their skin. It's a very sweet white tobacco, not a very sweet, but a sweet white tobacco, and it's kind of woody, and I just find it's beautiful. But because of that and how strong it is and how beast mode it is, personally, I like to wear this in colder weather. So high heat, summer, it does not do it for me, even though it's called sunshine. I just find it to be a little too strong. But sometimes when I miss it, I'll just spray one spray on an arm, just so I can have that scent, but that I'm not constantly, you know, smelling it or projecting it. Just like this. So yeah, that is my pick for yellow. Absolutely love. And you know, you get a lot of bang for your buck when you're purchasing Amouage, which again is not always the case with a niche purchase. So love that. Then we will move on to green, and for green, I again had a bunch I could pick, but I know I've spoken about this, but I do have to speak about it again. It's by Hermes, Jardin sur le Toit. This is incredible, you guys. I actually recently saw this in a Marshall's, and I like it so much that I thought about getting another one, and I didn't, thankfully, and I stuck to my no backup rule. But I'm about I'm about halfway into this 30 ml, and it's just, for me to like a green fragrance as much as I love this, it has to have something. The Jardin, or the Jardin collection by Hermes, is beautiful. I only own 2, and I would easily like to own all of them. They are stunning. They are truly stunning, and this is no exception. This is a very green, fruity, it's also fruity, which isn't my favorite, and yet it's just beautiful. I'll spray it here. It's beautiful. It's grassy and fruity. I feel like there's apple or pear in this, which aren't 2 of my favorite notes, and yet it's beautiful on this. And I've mentioned before, but this is what I took with me when I was traveling around Greece, and it just takes me back to that trip, even more so now when I'm sure I'm not the only one who's missing international travel and traveling freely and safely and just relaxing away on vacation abroad. And this just is stunning. It is so beautiful. It is a green fragrance done beautifully right, and you know, kind of spiced, or not spiced up, but just freshened up and sweetened with fruits. And I really couldn't recommend this enough. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance, and if I do end up going through this, this is one that might be repurchase worthy, because I just have the most beautiful memories associated with it, and the fragrance is stunning as well. A really, really well done green fragrance. Un Jardin sur le Toit is my pick for green. Then for blue. Blue was hard because there were so many, and so many of them had stories. So many were new purchases I'm loving, or, you know, tried and true. And I had to go with one that, even though I've made a full video on this, it just had to be my pick, honestly, for so many reasons. This is Gucci pour Homme 2, or 2. It's beautiful. I'll spray it on this arm. I have long wanted this. This is one that's very hard to find. It's discontinued. But if you can find it, I would recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it for an extortionate price that some people are probably selling it for, but if you can find it for a relatively good price, and you know that you're either a woman who likes unisex scents or you're a man, it's just beautiful. It is so, so stunning. And the only problem I have with this is its longevity. Honestly, I know that this was never meant to be, when it was created, never meant to be a beast mode, super long lasting fragrance, but on me, it really isn't lasting long enough or strong enough for me to enjoy it on a day when I'm, you know, going out, because it disappears way too quickly. But I will say I'm loving wearing it at home when we're spending a lot more time at home, because I don't mind reaching for it and respraying it. It's a beautiful bottle. The juice is a very, very lovely blue color, very heavy, just like Gucci 2 Perfume, the woman's version. The cap is less heavy, which some people might like, but it's just, it's really nice. And I know I mentioned this before, but on me, the cinnamon really comes alive, but that's just something with my skin chemistry. If there is even a touch of cinnamon or something that could lean like being cinnamon-like, then my skin will pick it up. And while it's not my favorite part of this, the black tea is actually my favorite part of this and my favorite note. The cinnamon does help it stay longer on my skin, because my skin just really likes cinnamon, I suppose, even more than my nose does. So I really do like this. I have waited for it for so long. I mean, it was like 10 years of me just like keeping an eye out, trying to get it for the best deal. So having picked it up this year, I'm really happy, and I'm actually really looking forward to wearing this in colder weather because on me it pulls so much warmer than it does on a lot of other people, and it just reminds me of the holidays in that way. So yeah, love this. Gucci to Pour Homme is my pick for blue. Then violet and indigo are what are left, and I didn't really have a true indigo shade. I had some that were much too blue to have been indigo or way too light of a purple. So kind of how I dealt with that is I chose a lighter purple for violet and a darker purple for indigo. But, you know, to be completely transparent, I didn't have an exact indigo match. And if you guys have a fragrance that's bottle is perfectly indigo, leave it in the comments below and I will take a look. So my purple pick, or my violet pick rather, is Alien. This is the Eau de Toilette, and this is the old formulation, so I just love it. I have just a little bit left, and I'm not gonna, you know, kill myself trying to savor it, but I am trying to wear it for a little bit more special occasions because I do know that the reformulation is just not there in terms of projection, longevity, and yeah, just everything before, you know, it was sold off. So I've loved this. I've loved Alien for a very long time. Usually I've only ever worn the Eau de Toilette or Eau de Parfum. I actually really like the Eau de Toilette, the old formulation rather, as you can see. I will finish this up, but recently I did pick up the what is it, the Extrait, I think? I'm not sure exactly, I forget now, but it's in the gold bottle. That one has been discontinued, but you can get it every once in a while, and yeah, I love that. It's really, really nice, and it's nice to have that because it's just as strong and even more gourmand, so it doesn't make me as sad that this is finishing up. It's beautiful. I don't have to go very deep into Alien. I feel like it's a beautiful jasmine. It's, again, not a jasmine for everyone, but I find, and maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, Alien is one of the most, if not the most, wearable fragrance that Mugler makes, because I find that the others have a lot, in general his fragrances are very love or hate, but Alien is the one that I've heard the most amount of people liking, either the originals or one of the flankers, one of the many flankers. But I find Angel puts off a lot of people. Me sometimes, I haven't smelled it in a very long time, but definitely sometimes. Aura, which I like, I know so many people don't like, and it's very strange for them, or too green or too minty. I really do like it. I have the Eau de Parfum, and Womanity I won't even get into. So yeah, I really do like Alien, and I think for Mugler it's probably your safest bet in terms of the regular fragrances, not the exclusives or anything like that. And it's beautiful. So that is my pick for Violet. And now we have Indigo, and that's the last one. And again, I didn't have one that amazingly matched that color, but I chose Aristocrat for Her by Ajmal, and this one I really liked it right when I got it and when I talked about it when I recently bought it, but recently I just had more to share because when I first bought it and I was talking about its comparisons and how I find it compared to Baccarat Rouge 540, because this is somewhat of a dupe, I said it was the closest that I had come to, both in my collection and smelling other dupes. This is the closest, and I'll spray it right here. Where there's no fragrance. Yeah, and that was really by memory because I hadn't smelled Baccarat Rouge 40 in quite a while. And recently I did smell it, and what's interesting, and I know a lot of people know this, is that fragrance and the Extrait have a tendency, even some of its dupes, have a tendency to make people go nose blind to it quite quickly. If you're wearing it too many days in a row, or I don't know, sometimes just with your body chemistry, you can either get it beast mode where it's lasting and kind of filling up a room with one spray, and I've had that experience with it, or you can smell it and it almost disappears and you can't really get all the nuances of all the notes, and I've had that happen too. So I really do like this fragrance. It is beautiful, and having smelled it recently, I can say that Aristocrat is easily my best dupe for it, and honestly, to my nose, it's the closest match that I've come to, and a close enough match that personally I wouldn't purchase Baccarat Rouge 540 or the Extrait anytime soon. Could I see myself doing it in the future? Perhaps, definitely, but this is a close enough dupe that honestly never makes me go nose blind to it, at least not so far. And for that expensive of a purchase, I feel like this is coming close enough in my collection and kind of filling in that gap that there are so many other fragrances from Francis Kurkdjian that I would love to have in my collection before purchasing Paco Rouge 540 or the Extrait. I have Féminin Pluriel from him. I love that. There's so many that I've tried that I'd love to pick up. And those two, while they're the most popular or talked about, I just feel like because of that, there's good enough dupes to my nose, like Aristocrat, that I don't feel the need to jump to get that one, and I'd rather spend that money on something that I, feel like I don't have in my collection and that I don't want to replicate, and I want to get that original. So I do love this. It's very beast mode. It lasts a very long time. Some people say that it smells like cologne on me, like men's cologne, but I just love it. It's the least sweet of the other dupes, because I find Ariana Cloud is much more sweet, and in the bottle, when you're just smelling it off the bottle, it does smell a lot closer, but when you spray it, it changes and sweetens up. That's incredibly beast mode. And Burberry Her is one that they've talked about. It's very strawberries and cream. It has a touch of that, but it's probably the most different, honestly, to Paco Rouge 540, but this is very, very close, and I really do like it. So that is my pick for Indigo. And if you guys make videos, if you're a fellow YouTube content creator, then by all means take this video idea. I'd love to see your guys' video. Just give me a shout out so I can check them out, because I feel like everyone's gonna have really interesting picks for the different colors. And if you'd like to just let me know in the comments, then I'd absolutely love to hear from you, and maybe we can recommend some fun fragrances in this color format in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!